Hi, I'm Jayavidi Kumar, a computer science graduate student here at the University of Florida. And today I'll be interviewing you to identify some of the problems you faced as an international student when you first came to the university. Our goal is to identify some prevalent problems that international students face initially and come up with solutions to make that transition more efficient. This interview will not take more than 15 minutes and is going to be recorded for course submission purposes only. So do you have any questions before we begin?
No, I'm good.
All right. So let's start with an introduction. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. So this is Bhavya Kavya, and I'm pursuing my master's in computer science.
All right. So hi Bhavya, what is your home country?
My home country is India.
Okay. And have you studied abroad before?
No, so I did my undergrad and even my job of 2 years from India, from my home state. Yeah.
From your home state. Okay, amazing. So which semester did you join UF?
So I came to UF in fall 2021.
Okay. And when did you arrive at the campus first?
So I arrived, I think, 5 days before the classes began. That was in August of 21.
In August. Okay. So
Yeah.
how did you like the city first when you came here?
So it was initially, I think August was quite hot. So the weather was not very pleasant, but overall the city had a very nice college town vibe, and everything was, it was a totally different country for me. So it was a very different experience. Yes.
So what was the first thing you found strikingly different from your hometown?
I would actually, the whole buildings, the structure, and everything was quite systematic here. From the traffic rules to, I mean, grocery shopping at Walmart, and then navigating and everything was quite systematic here. Yes.
Oh, so did you have any difficulties coping up with the differences, or how was the whole experience?
Yes, initially it was, I mean, it took some effort to get used to everything which was different here, which was there was quite some differences, basically, like I said, from um, traffic rules to crossing the road, of like pressing the button to cross the street, walking on the sidewalk, and then for transportation I had to take a bus. So getting to know proper apps for locating bus stops, which would lead me to places, and then navigating the whole college campus to get to my classes. And then again, grocery shopping and shopping at Walmart and everything was quite a different experience. Yes.
So did you have enough resources and information available to have an easy transportation, like finding the bus route or even going around the campus?
So I initially relied on Google Maps, and then there were a few apps like Translock and GNVRTS, which would tell me about bus stops and the routes, but I found them to be not that accurate. So it was a hit and try sometimes, but I think the trick was to leave early so that you get to your classes in time. Yeah.
And what were all of these information available to you via UF, or how did you get to know about these applications and routes?
Okay, so UF actually did not provide me any information about, I mean, navigating the campus. It was all through peers and through common groups which we had created of all the people who were international students who were coming to UF for the first time. So discussions on those platforms really helped us.
Okay, so how did you spend your 5 to 7 days? You said that you came before 5 days of your classes. So how did you spend those days?
So initially, I actually went to a few beaches and explored Three Sister Springs in Florida. So that was quite a very nice experience. And later, I believe I attended few orientations, which I mean, I got accustomed to UF. Then the library and getting help related to, I mean, any counseling or anything, then information about insurance, and then also attended my department specific orientation to make myself more accustomed to my department specifics.
All right. So how was the whole orientation process and experience?
So orientation was virtual because of COVID that year, and it pretty much covered guidelines about maintaining your visa status. Then the international center conducted its own orientation. There was a department-specific orientation outlining the degree requirements and everything else. Then, as I mentioned, I mean, if you're feeling low or feeling overwhelmed, if at any time in your program, then you can reach out to some guidance counselor or a therapist. So pretty much generic information was provided to each and every incoming international student.
And how useful did you find that information?
So initially, that information was actually useful in, I mean, giving a brief introduction about each and everything. But I felt like doing all those things practically actually, I mean, helped me get used to everything. And I feel like the resources which were shared were quite useful, because we were told like which people to reach out to in case of any queries. So that was actually very helpful.
Amazing. So a little bit about your living situation. So how
Mhm.
did you finalize your housing?
So I did not find any resources at the UF website or through UF to look for any on-campus housing. So I actually contacted some UF alumni and a few friends, and I got in touch with incoming international students, preferably Indian students, and then look for off-campus housing. So we created WhatsApp groups, and then we created a few Excel sheets with the lists of people describing their preferred roommates. So we got in touch with each other, and then we finalized on off-campus housing.
So how far do you stay from campus?
I would say 4 or 5 miles far from the campus, where I mean, majority of the Indian community lives here, and then you have Walmart, Publix, and there's an India Bazaar which is in the vicinity, and then even the bus stop is quite close, which would take you to campus. So yeah.
So do you find it difficult to commute to campus, or did you find it difficult to commute to campus in the early stages?
Initially, yes, because like I said, I relied on Google Maps and few apps which I found to be not that accurate. And then secondly, the whole concept of navigating from the bus stop to your class, and even from there, you need to walk a certain distance to actually reach your class. And then the UF campus is quite huge, which is a good thing. But then finding your classes, reaching on time, and actually getting on the right bus, and estimating the amount of time it would take in transit was something which I've learned through experience here.
All right. So how was your moving experience? Like, did you uh, have any apprehensions of moving in, or any difficulties in trying to figure out things?
Definitely. So I've never stayed so far away from my family, and then moving to a totally new country where and speaking a different language. And that's something which is quite challenging. And then getting used to everything, from electricity to setting up your Wi-Fi, then living alone and getting your laundry done, doing your grocery, and managing everything with your academics was quite challenging. And it took some time to get used to everything.
Okay. And so, were there any processes that you had to complete before coming to UF?
Yes. So, I mean, the whole registration process, and then there was a few international forms which we had to fill, like stating our like place of residency. So we had to fill in our mailing and shipping address, then emergency contact, I believe, filling out immunization form, and most importantly, I think deciding for the courses was something which I did before coming to UF.
Okay, so how was the process of registering for courses?
So I actually got the news from my seniors that you need to mail your graduate advisor listing down the courses that you need to take. And if seats are available, then they would respond to you via mail that some seats have opened up, and then they register you in that particular course. So it was entirely an email-based communication with my advisor.
So you said that you got the information from a senior. Was the course registration information provided by UF? And how did you find the information on courses that you needed?
So I did not find any information regarding registration of courses, the steps which needed to be taken through UF. There was a website for listing the courses offered by my department by UF, but that had like limited information. Actually, I mean, just like about professors and what were the mandatory courses which I needed to take to complete my degree. But apart from that, I feel like my seniors and actually people who had taken those courses and on the internet reviews about those courses were something which helped me in deciding and actually getting started with the whole process.
So was there any platform available from the UF where you could connect to the seniors or alumni, or was that your own?
No, not through, not any platform through UF, but I did reach out via, I mean, LinkedIn, talk to people who had graduated from UF or were currently studying. So
Did COVID have any impact on your classroom experience?
So COVID was actually at its peak when I arrived in 2021. So most of my classes were made online. And some professors did take in-person classes, but and the recordings were always made available. But I did take most of my classes from home. So there was no issue in, I mean, the class recordings, and we didn't have any problem communicating with the professor because office hours and everything was made available via Zoom. But I did feel like we missed out on the classroom experience, and especially collaborating with international students and mixing up with other people, which you can do when you're going to classroom, and something which was important.
So did you partake in any extracurricular activity or join any clubs or did some part-time?
I did not take part in any extracurricular activities, but I did do part-time in Shakespeare via Aramark.
Okay, so was that information available to you easily, or did you have any, how did you receive that information?
So I actually got that information through a friend, an incoming international student at UF. So he guided me that there's a page at careers at UF where you could apply for on-campus jobs and in the food industry especially. So I went to that link and then explored jobs which suited to my profile, and then I just applied.
Okay, so what main concern you had before coming to UF?
So one big concern was actually living in a different country where the primary language is actually different from that of my home country, and everything from housing to grocery, and then the whole living experience in United States was different. So that was quite scary. And then even at the university, so the whole learning experience is quite practical rather than theoretical. So getting used to the whole curriculum, then collaborating with other people and getting my assignments done in time was quite challenging.
So amongst you international students, were there any concerns that you talked about initially, or
There were quite few concerns about like managing our personal life along with like living alone and basically managing our day-to-day activities with academics and striking a balance between the two. That was something which was a major concern. And then a second thing would be about the banking system, which was quite different in United States than in our home country, where you could just walk in and uh, instead of booking an appointment here in US. Secondly, I think getting acquainted to the whole medical system here was something which took time, like getting an insurance, student insurance, and acquiring information about various insurances offered by different companies and the university as well, and about getting an appointment here if in case of any medical emergency. That was something which was quite scary. Overall, I feel like striking a balance between academic and day-to-day activities was something which was a major concern.
So, all right. Do you have any other issue that you want to highlight or bring to notice?
I think there are a few issues. First of them being that because of COVID, since all of our classes were online, the whole experience of collaborating with domestic as well as other international students was not there for us. And then secondly, I felt like there could have been few workshops or some guidance in getting internships and jobs. And I felt like at times when living in a different country and coping up with academics was quite overwhelming. So access to guidance counselors as well as therapists was something which took quite a lot of time. I mean, getting an appointment and then the waiting line on the appointment was quite large, was very long. So I felt like that process could have been a little bit smoother. Like more resources could have been there at our disposal to, reach out to. So that was something which I felt like could be a little better, so that more students can reach out and get timely help. And that's something which is quite important when you're living away from home and when you have to take care of yourself and your academics at the same time.
I totally agree with that. Well, I do hope that your journey from the day one till now has been better and you have come a long way. With that, we'll wrap up the interview. Your answers do really shed a light on a lot of issues regarding housing and courses, and especially the mental health and resources. Thank you so much for your time. You have a great day.
Thank you. You too.